بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه وبعد. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Inshallah ta'ala, in these classes that we are going to hold in Arabic specifically, they are known by the way, the whole, basically what we're covering is going to be called تعلموا العربية, learn Arabic, basically. Why are we doing this? So that for those who want to become students of knowledge, those who want to have access to the books of knowledge, mainly to say if they want access to the scholars as well, this is what we're trying to cater for them. Normally, many students, many people that literally aim to study Arabic, they aim to study Arabic in the sense of understanding the language itself by being able to communicate and converse in the language. But what they're forgetting is this. Sometimes we read a book, and majority of these books that we read, they don't have fatha, kasra, dhamma, if you understand what I mean. Well, for example, as you read alif, alif has a fatha, alif has a kasra, ba can have a dhamma, any one of those, depending on where you are and what stage you're in, you've reached to right now when it comes to your Arabic reading specifically, particularly that. You notice that for many people, they struggle to be able to have the ability of reading the books and understanding what they are reading so that they can be able to access those books while the teacher is explaining what's in the book itself. So what they rely on the translation of the teacher rather than relying on the actual book as well. وَكَمَا يُعَلِّمُنَا الْمَشَايِخ دَائِمًا. The teachers, all of us, all the time they teach us that when you are taught by the teacher, اعلم أن الأستاذ أو الشيخ هذا كذلك من بني آدم. He's from among whom human beings. So what happens, he might say something not on purpose, but something which undeliberately he says, which is not according to what the lesson is providing. Maybe he said it as a mistake. Maybe he might have forgotten something. And that's normal for a human being. But then when you revise mathalan, you go through the book and you realize, oh, so Ustadh meant this, or Sheikh meant this, but then there's a slight problem. And not only that, you don't limit yourself to the idea of just conversing, because if you want to converse, you easily can communicate with one person to the other, which I'm not saying you shouldn't, you should. That's how you access the ulama. That's how you access the scholars. That's how you access people in other countries. For example, like in the Middle East, or you go to other parts of the world where people can communicate in Arabic, if not any other language, which you would desire to ask something from them. So this is what we are going to do. The requirements of this course is that what is required from you is the ability to be able to read. If you can read Quran, then you can read Arabic. The same Quran that you read is the same Arabic that you find in the books. There's no rocket science. Bear that in mind. Even if you can read broken Quran, basically, not even broken Arabic, broken Quran, your Quran is not as perfect because we're not aiming for tajweed. Bear that in mind. We're aiming for the ability of being able to do what? To at least recognize what you are reading. Once you recognize that, it's easy for you to understand that which we are going to do, inshaAllah ta'ala. We're going to rely on a number of sources, by the way. We're not going to rely on only alarabiya bayna yadayk. We are going to rely even on al-qira'atu rashida, al-ajur rumiyya, and that should not scare you off. You shouldn't feel thrown away because of this, and you think perhaps it's going to be too overwhelming. Actually, we're trying to simplify it as much as we could. And most importantly, as we teach the class, we're going to be referring back to the Quran to begin with, so that you literally see the connection between the Arabic that you read in the books and the Arabic that you literally would find in the Quran. However, to understand the Quran, that's a different topic. Because remember, understanding the Quran, there are 3 stages of understanding the Quran. A student of Al-Quran and a student of Arabic specifically per se, you would literally say that they do not understand the Quran immediately. Actually, there's level 1, there's phase 1 of their journey, there's phase 2 of their journey, and there's phase 3 of their journey for them to be able to understand the actual intended meaning of the Quran. But it doesn't end there though. There's 4 stages for a mufassir or a Quran student to be able to dig into the Quran. And inshallah ta'ala, we're going to do a class on that, but not today, bi'idhnillah. What we are going to look into today is introduce this class by looking into the various verbs that you can use for conversing, number 1, and number 2, inshallah ta'ala, so that you can see them when you read Quran, time to time. You can see them, and we're going to explain how they work, bi'idhnillahi al-kareem. So let's get into the class, inshallah ta'ala. Na'am. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. as you can see, we have over here a conversation between Khalid and Khalil. There's a conversation between whom? Khalid and Khalil. These two people, they are conversing in Arabic itself, and you notice this is alarabiya bayna yadayk. It starts as Khalid is saying, Assalamu alaikum. Let me change this to red. I like the font to be red in this case. Assalamu alaikum. Khalil says, Wa alaikum assalam. That's very easy, isn't it? Lakin Khalid says, Ismi Khalid. Ismi Khalid. My name is Khalid. And he asks now, Masmuka. What is your name? Now something that I want you to literally recognize is this. Ismi, and look at ismuka, like that. I want you to build the curiosity of understanding the following. This is what I want you to understand. If you found that one of them was asking and they said ismi, and the other one said ismuka, what are the differences that you can see? What are the differences that you can see? For sure, you can see that this one has a ya, ended with a ya basically, and this one ended with a kaf, like that. Ended with a ya, sukun, and a fatha, kaf with a fatha. Kaf with a fatha. Ismi, and ismuka, like that. Simply put. That's how you can see the difference. Now going back to the lesson itself, notice this. Khalil says, Ismi Khalil. Khalil says, Ismi Khalil. Khalid says, Kayfa haluka. Kayfa haluka. I want you to read these with me. As I read, I want you to read back. Khalil says, Bikhair walhamdulillah. Bikhair walhamdulillah. وكيف حالك أنت وكيف حالك أنت. Khalid says بخير والحمد لله بخير والحمد لله. Now, if you pay attention to this, you realize that the Arabic that is used is very simple, صح? And is basically easy for you to understand exactly what's going on over here. However, I want us to repeat that again so that you can read the Arabic, and now with translation as well. You read the Arabic with translation, and then after reading with translation, basically I'm going to be reading and then I'm going to be telling you the meaning. But I want you to read, I want you to recite with me as I say it, inshallah ta'ala, so you can get used into that groove of reading Arabic. Rather than just relying on the idea of listening alone, you have to do what? You have to repeat. That's why you notice, if you look back into the board again, this is what you get. Sahibul Kitab, ماذا فعل? What did he start with? He started with انظر واستمع وأعد. Look, انظر, observe, واستمع, listen, and أعد, repeat. انظر واستمع وأعد. انظر means observe, استمع means listen, basically attentively, and أعد, repeat. Simply put, nothing much. Which means to say, as you look, basically you pay attention to what's being read, and then you listen, basically clearly, and then you repeat what the teacher was saying for you to build on that, inshaAllah ta'ala. So as we start at the moment, as I said, we're going to repeat this again so that you can now follow along. Khalid says, Assalamu alaikum. Khalid says, Assalamu alaikum. Isn't it? Khalil says, Wa alaikum assalam. Khalil says, Wa alaikum assalam. It's as simple as that. I would rather just clear this off so we can have a clear board. We can have a clear board, inshallah. Khalid says, Ismi Khalid. What does this mean? My name is Khalid. My name. The reason why it's my is because of that ya. Remember we mentioned it here? There's a ya here that we mentioned. We're going to come back to that, inshallah. But then he asks, Ma. Ma means what? Ma means what? Masmuka. What is your name? And why is it your for in this case? Is because of the kaf. Because of the kaf. So what happens is that you say masmuka. If you say masmi, mathalan, let me give you an example. If you are to say masmi, Look, ma masmi, or if you want to say it basically as a beginner, you would say ma ismi, which is not correct because عند التقاء الساكنين, what do? You combine them together. And not even one to one sukun. There's three sukuns actually. Mim, alif. There's an alif and there's an alif and then there's the sin with the sukun. Each one of them, they are with sukun. So you say masmi. If you say masmi, what does this mean? Asma means what? Asma means what? Ismi means my name. If you ask what is my name, by the way, these helping words, these helping prepositions, they are not used in Arabic. Like is, are, okay, all of these, is, are, am, like this am. These are not literally part of Arabic. They don't provide you this. If you read it exactly as how it is, masmi, then it would mean what my name. It would mean what my name. Now this doesn't make sense in English. Obviously, you need to add a helping preposition like this. What my name is, a helping word. So notice this, masmi. Obviously, if you ask masmi, then definitely we would think that perhaps you've forgotten your name, you've lost your memory, there's something wrong like that. That's why. Okay? So how do you ask someone what is your name? You ask someone what is your name by saying masmuka. Masmuka, like that, as you saw there. Now there's a difference that you can see. I hope you saw the difference between ismi and ismuka. The difference between ismi and ismuka. Now let's carry on and finish off that conversation and then go to the next conversation. And then after that, now we start discussing on what are the differences of the ya and the kaf and how can they work in your favor in order for you to understand. And at the same time, how we can use that to address them in the Quran, inshaAllah ta'ala. So let's go back into the board again. Khalil says, Ismi Khalil, my name is Khalil. If he was to say Ismuka Khalil, Ismuka by using this over here, let me wipe this off. If he was to say Ismuka Khalil, basically Ismuka then Khalil, then it would mean what? Your name is Khalil. There's a difference over here. So look, Khalil says Ismi Khalil, my name is Khalil. Khalid says كيف حالك كيف حالك okay كيف حالك Khalid says كيف حالك how are you okay how are you and حال can mean health okay حال can mean the word حال it can mean health can mean condition. So maybe you're asking someone, how is your condition? That's what you're basically saying. You're saying, how is your condition? But obviously you wouldn't ask someone, how is your condition? You will ask someone, how are you? Simply put, isn't it? Simply put, you would ask that person what? How are you? So look at this again. كيف حالك? How are you? Khalil says, بخير. Basically good. Walhamdulillah. And praise is to Allah. Praise belongs to Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala. But then he asks with emphasis, وَكَيْفَ حَالُكَ أَنْتَ وَكَيْفَ حَالُكَ أَنْتَ كَيْفَ حَالُكَ أَنْتَ How, كيف means how. كيف definitely means how. حَالُكَ, basically your condition. And أنت means you. Okay, means you. This is used to emphasize. Let me just change the color so you can see. It's used to emphasize. أنت means you. Khalid says, بخير الحمد لله. بخير الحمد لله. Now something, before we even move forward, inshallah ta'ala, that I want you to pay attention to now again as we go to the other conversation, inshallah. This is what I want you to see. You notice that we use the ya at the end of the word ism, and then we use the kaf at the end of the word ism. But then we use the kaf at the end of the word hal at the same time. But we didn't use the word hal to add a ya at the end of it. Which personally I would say, if for example, it is to use the conversation, I would have, rather than say, using the common way of بخير alhamdulillah, I would have said حالي بخير. مثلا. Let me show you a demonstration. For example, شوف. If, for example, because the author decided to say كيف, let me use a different page. Yeah. كيف, let's say this is Khalil. Let's say this is Khalil. I hope you're seeing this. Khalil says كيف حالك. كيف حالك, like this. But then you notice that Khalid says, I hope that's the right order anyway. Khalid says بخير. بخير والحمد لله. والحمد لله. Don't mind my handwriting, by the way. My handwriting is not at its best at the moment. بخير والحمد لله. Simply. Now, if you wanted to use, basically, see the difference between the ya and the kaf and that, rather than having بخير والحمد لله, rather than having this, you can have something more connected to it, such as, look, حالي بخير. My hal, basically my hal is good. But let me tell you something. Something that I want you to know as well is that Arabs don't speak like that. Arabs don't say hali bikhair. So the conversation that is brought, the reason why it says bikhair alhamdulillah, remember this is conversational Arabic. But actually we are using this same conversational Arabic so that you can access two things. You can access Arabic conversation and also access Arabic reading. Now the crisis that many people are facing without them realizing is that they fail to understand why do they study Arabic. If you study Arabic for the reason of conversing, then that's a totally different skill. If you study Arabic for the sake of understanding what you are reading, that's a completely different skill. Someone can be very good at conversing, but unskilled in what? In reading. And someone can be very skilled in reading, but their skill of conversing is a bit poor. And we've seen many of those people. Can people combine both? Yes, they can. Yes, they can. And the best of how you can combine both of them is being able to read, basically. You read and understand what you are reading. You understand the patterns of reading until it becomes second nature. Remember this, Arabic is literally like a big snowball that you need to build. You roll it, you roll it, you roll it until it becomes so big of a snowball that you use it to your advantage. That's what you do. Lakin beyond that, you can use these same vocabulary that you learn here and these same techniques that you get out of the book, and then you memorize the phrases. Remember, vocabulary is not just recited and you gather more. You don't gather more, you memorize more. That's the secret. There is no other secret sauce. I'm being honest. There's no, that's the part, that's literally the parcel and the package of life, and the package of reading Arabic and studying Arabic particularly. It's the package and parcel of being able to understand Arabic properly. You need to memorize. احفظ تقول ما شئت. Our mashayikh always tell us, you memorize, you would say whatever you want. Memorize and memorize and memorize, you would say whatever you want. In order for you to understand a language, you need to memorize a lot of vocabulary. And some of the vocabulary are these. In order for you to succeed in this little course that we're going to look into, you have to memorize these little things that you are going to go through bi'idhnillahi al-kareem. Now, something to mention to you as well is that because we are trying to look into over here as Arabic reading, you notice that the author wanted to use what? Wanted to use بِخَيْرَ alhamdulillah. That's why it's conversational Arabic. But when it comes to reading Arabic, I would have said, say حَالِي بِخَيْرٍ. Why so? So you can spot the difference between when you're using the ya, when you're using the kaf. And we're going to come to break them down and understand what do they stand for. Exactly, inshallah. Because let's go to the second conversation. And after we are done with that, then that's when we're going to look into exactly what do the letters stand for, inshallah. In this second conversation, you'll see al-hiwaru al-thani, the second conversation. Al-hiwar, the word hiwar means conversation. It means conversation. Al-thani means second. It means second. Undur, observe. Wastami' and listen. Wa'a'id and repeat. So you try to repeat with me as we move along, inshallah. Khawla says, Assalamu alaikum. Khadija says, Wa alaikum assalam. So you can repeat as I say it. That's why you find me a little bit quiet as I move on. Khawla says, Ismi Khawla. My name is Khawla. Then she asks, Masmuki. Say it with me again. Masmuki. Before we carry on now, if you look over here, for the men, you notice that they used a kaf with a fatha. It has a fatha. And over here, the kaf, they use it with a kasra. In case if you don't know exactly what fatha means and kasra means, these are diacritics, known as diacritics. If I put a straight line over here, this is how you see them. A letter that contains a fatha on the top, at the top, or maybe at the bottom, kasra, a dhamma, like that. And in other cases is two fathas, fathatain, kasratain, dhammatain, like that. Let me do it again, dhammatain. A letter can have any of those. However, it doesn't stop there alone. It doesn't stop there alone. A letter can also have, bear with me a second. Yes, just want to change the color, font color. A letter can also have a sukoon. Also can have a sukoon. So it's either one of these, either 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is a sukoon, by the way. Okay? 7. Any one of those 7, if you see them, then bear in mind that what you expect is to see what it stands for. Is it fatha, kasra, dhamma? And if you understand those, understand this as well. It gives you a clear understanding of seeing the differences grammar-wise. And you're not going to do this today, by the way. You're not going to look at grammar today or tomorrow. La la la. And you're not going to see grammar coming. It's going to be infused in the lessons, bi'idhnillah, so that you can be able to understand these smoothly and easily, so that you can access the language rather than running away from the language by seeing these big words as grammar, morphology, and all of that. You don't need to go all of that or through all of that at the moment. What you need at the moment is having the ability to see through the words and being able to use those the words that you're going to learn, inshallah ta'ala, and also, for example, like pronouns, and those are the things that you're going to look into and start using them slowly but surely, bi'idhnillah. So let's get back into the lesson. You notice we said masmuka for the man, and then there is masmuki for the woman, which means what is your name, inshallah ta'ala. So if you look carefully in the conversation, this is what you get. Ismi Khadija. My name is Khadija. She says my name because of this ya. The ya plays a huge role in this case. Khawla says, Kayfa haluki? How are you? And as we said, the word hal stands for condition. If you look at it, if we go back at least one, hal, did we write it somewhere? Hal, look, hal means condition. It can be health. Basically, how is your health? How is your condition? How are you doing? Basically, it can be anything. Can be health, can be condition, can be your situation. Let's add another word over here. Can be situation also. But when they use hal, this is to generalize exactly what they are asking about, inshallah. That's why if we were to use, basically, if the purpose of the book, if you look at the book itself, if the purpose of the book, as we said earlier, was not to teach you conversational Arabic, actually, it was not to teach you conversational Arabic, rather it was to teach you Arabic reading and understanding what you're reading, then perhaps the author would have said, Hali bi khair. So you can see through that. But in reality is that Arabs do not speak like that. When you say Kayfa haluk, you don't expect someone to say Hali bi khair. You expect someone to say bi khair alhamdulillah. Simply like that. Bi khair alhamdulillah. Like that. Or someone would literally just say bi khair. Or they would just say alhamdulillah. Simply put. But if you want to stand literally reading Arabic that is read in the books, with the diacritics, which we said the diacritics are these, fatha, kasra, dhamma, these are the diacritics, then we would have said perhaps hali bi khair, as you can see here, hali bi khair, my condition, my situation, or maybe my health, depending on what you're trying to refer to, inshallah ta'ala. So let's go back and finish off the conversation, then come and discuss about what are these the ya and the kaf, and also having them with a fatha, having them with a kasra. How can we use them? How do we see them in the Quran, inshallah ta'ala? Khadija responds after saying, Kayfa haluki? After asking, how are you? How are you? She responds by saying, Bi khair alhamdulillah. Bi khair alhamdulillah. And then she asks now, Wa kayfa haluki anti? Aywa. Look, anti, and over here is anta. anta. Notice, anta and anti. Khawla says, بخير الحمد لله. Khawla says, بخير الحمد لله. Now, if we put things together in perspective, you notice this, look at this. We've had a ya at the end, isn't it? A ya with a sukun. And we've had a kaf with a fatha. And we've had a kaf with a kasra. Before we go to anta and anti, I just want us to go through these three. These are known as pronouns. Pronouns. These are known as pronouns. However, in pronouns, we have two types of pronouns. This should not be technical. Ikhwat al-kiram, please don't find this technical. It's very easy. Look, it's just knowing the differences between the two, and you'll come to see why. And perhaps you might learn this ahead before you even get to the lesson, but I want you to look into this properly. There's two types of pronouns, by the way. There's two types of pronouns. That's one, and this is two. And one of them, the first one that we're going to look into, they are connective pronouns. Connective pronouns. And then we have separative pronouns. Separative pronouns. In Arabic, we'll call these munfasila. In Arabic, we'll call these munfasila. Munfasila. And these one, we'll call them muttasila. We'll call them muttasila. Okay? I am not going to ask you for this today, and I don't really care whether you memorize it or not, but I just want you to grab the idea. Basically, munfasila, munfasila. These are known as muttasila. These are known as muttasila. Now, what does it mean? Muttasila means connecting pronoun, a connected pronoun. And munfasila means separative pronoun, separated. These ones that we have, such as the ya here, and the kaf with a fatha, kaf with a kasra, these belong to the following category. These belong to connective. Because why do you call them connective? Because they connect with the word. They connect with the word. Understood? They connect with the word. That's what it is. Separative pronouns which are separative, which we so call them separative, these ones do not connect with the word. Do not connect with the, let me correct that, with the word. These ones do not connect with the word, simply put. Now, that means if these are pronouns and they are connective, then they hold meaning, isn't it? Then they hold what? They hold meaning. They have a certain meaning to them. It's not just they are pronouns and that's it. I want us to spot them, inshallah, in the Quran particularly to begin with, and also we can look into another text and see exactly how you can use them, inshallah ta'ala. So let's look into the meaning of them first. The ya stands for my. Understood? And the kaf with a fatha stands for your. But this one is for male. Basically a man. And then the kaf with a kasra stands for your as well. But for whom? A female. A female. Now look, something amazing about the Arabic language, which I want you to bear in mind and pay attention to. In English, whether you're speaking to a woman or you're speaking to a man, you would say what? Your, you. And you would say you addressing every one of them, for example. Like in Arabic, it separates between each one of those genders. What happens is that you say your, there's a your specifically for male, or you for male, and there is your or yours for female, and there is you for female. For example, as you saw right now, ka, that specifically refers to the male, and ki specifically refers to the female. Now, how do you use them and how can you apply them in your reading and also apply them in your Arabic at the same time? This is how you expect them to be, inshallah. These three, before we even add the rest of the other ones that we want to add, these are known also as single form. They are single form, okay? Single form. Single form pronouns. These are single form, referring to one person. If I have the word qalam, مثلا, qalam means pen, isn't it? Qalam means pen, simply put. If I want to say my pen, look, I have the ya and I have the kaf over here with the fatha, and I have the kasra like that. Qalam. If I want to say my pen, I would use this, and then I would do it like this. Qa, lam, qalami, like that. Qalami. This means my pen. How about if I want to say your pen for a man? How do I say your pen for a man? I will use this one instead. This you say qalamuka. Okay? Let me just write it somewhere separate, or maybe just above a bit. The pen is kind of being funny. Qalamuka. Like that. Qalamuka. This refers to your male pen. Your pen. Like that. But if I want to say for a female, your pen, I would say qalamuki, which I would say over here. Look. Qalamuki. Like that. Qalamuki. Simply put. Qalamuki. Qalamuki refers to your, similar as to that which you saw. Your female though. However, woman, pen. Your pen. If I give you another word, مثلا, now in this case, if I give you another word, such as bait. Baytun. Look at this, the word bait. Okay, bait. Bait means house. Okay, sayyara. The word sayyara. It means car. Simply put, it means what? Car, as you can see, car. Now, how do I say my car? How do I say my house? How do I say your house? How do I say my house? How do I say all of those? If you look at the pronouns, you'll notice that that's how you use them. Now, let's use the word bait, and let's see if the Quran uses the word bait to refer to something, and also using those pronouns particularly, so you may see the beauty of what is being provided, inshallah ta'ala. Look. Bayti. Bayti means my house. Bayti means my house. Sayyara. If I add plus the ya, like this, it would be sayyarati. Sayyarati means my car. Which sayyara actually means vehicle. This word means vehicle. But you use the word sayyara for car. Understood? You use the word sayyara for car. Now this word bayti is used in the Quran. And I'll show you where. If you look carefully, now you notice that Allah does use the word bayti. وَعَهِدْنَا إِلَىٰ إِبْرَاهِيمَ وَإِسْمَاعِيلَ أَن طَهِّرَ بَيْتِيَ, like that. بَيْتِيَ. In another qira'ah, it's not even baytiya, it's bayti. What does bayti mean? The word bayti means my house. That's what it means. لِلطَّائِفِينَ وَالْعَاكِفِينَ وَالرُّكَّعِ السُّجُودِ. Understood? That's how it works. So if you look over here with the slightest of what you've been able to do right now, you realize that, subhanallah, these are things which are mainly used in the Quran. Now I'll take you to a different word, bi'idhnillahi al-kareem, that you will see the ya is used, the kaf is used, and all of these are pronouns that you have learnt right now. It opens up for you doors that you might see not only in the Quran alone, you'll see in other texts as well, inshaAllah ta'ala. If you look carefully, look. إني جاعلك للناس إماما قال ومن ذريتي ذريتي. The word ذرية means progeny. The word ذرية, it means progeny. But ذريتي with the ya like this, it means my progeny. Now if you look at your main work that you're supposed to be doing over here, is not only connecting the two, is to you to memorize the word dhurriya as well. You need to know the word dhurriya, what it stands for, and then you combine it with the ya like that. And then you get dhurriyati. Can we find another one that has a kaf mathalan, for example? Innaka. Look, the word inna means indeed. Indeed. Understood? Innaka, indeed you, with the kaf. Innaka, like that. Innaka anta. The word anta is used as well over here. And you notice in the conversation, in alarabiya bayna yadayk, we have anti, and then we have anta over here. And Allah uses them similarly. Anta means you. That's what it means, you. Ayatika. Look at the word ayatika. Ayat means miracles. It means signs. Understood? And then if you have the kaf like this, it means ayatika, your signs. Your signs. Simply like that. Ikhwa. So you can see how important the pronouns are right now, isn't it? Now, it doesn't stop there only. With the single form, there are other two more that we want to look into, inshallah. So you notice that how do you say he or her, for example? How do you say he, or how do you say she or her? Let's say her pen, her house. Let's say you want to say her car, mathalan like that. How do you say his car? How do you say he? How do you say she? Mathalan, in terms of those pronouns. And we're specifically focused on connective pronouns alone. Just connective pronouns, bi'idhnillahi al-kareem. Let's go back to our board again. The other two pronouns that we have, mathalan, over here you notice there's one, there's two, and there's three, like that. How about the other two? Which ones are they? The other two are, I'll put a straight line here. We have who. Sometimes it's who, sometimes it's he, like that. That's number 4. And then we have number 5, which is ha, like that. Now, if you put a word before this, you'll notice that if we have bait, the word bait. I'm going to use the word bait again. The word bait plus who, like this. You would say baytuhu. Baytuhu. What does this mean? His house. Okay, it means his house, like that. If I use the ha and I add the word, let's say Rabb, like this, plus the ha, like that, I would say Rabbuha. What does Rabbuha mean? Rabbuha means her master. Or in other words, you would say her Lord. Understood? Her master or her Lord. Now Allah uses the same Rabbuhu, however. If you look at the same surah, وَإِذْ يَرْفَعُ, not here. If we go back a little bit, here we are. Look. وَإِذِ ابْتَلَى إِبْرَاهِيمَ رَبُّهُ. What does the word Rabbuhu mean? It means his Lord. Understood? His Lord. بِكَلِمَاتٍ فأتمهن قال إني جاعلك للناس إماما قال ومن ذريتي قال لا ينال عهدي عهدي. Notice عهدي, my promise. Okay, my promise that he's made. That's what I mean. Ahdi al-zalimin. Those of the wrongdoers will not attain my promise, as Allah is using it. Now, these are the pronouns that I wanted you to take with you from this lesson, inshallah. And it would only be easy for you to understand these pronouns if you use words that you can replace them all the time with this word, that word, use the pronouns that you can use on a day-to-day basis, inshallah ta'ala. So for this reason, inshallah ta'ala, we'll stop here. Lakin what you are supposed to do is join our Telegram group, bi'idhnillah. And in the Telegram group, you'll receive a short homework that you can build on for the next lesson, bi'idhnillah. In the Telegram group, you'll receive updates and also further lessons that we are uploading, bi'idhnillah al-kareem. And not only related to Arabic alone, everything that the Academy has to provide, inshallah ta'ala.